David,
Are we live?
I think we are.
I think you hid that from me.
I did. You didn't see me push it this time.
I'm wrestling your mom. Don't come in. I was about to win.
You look down in the dumps today.
It's a dark day, Dane. It's a very dark day. Well, first of all, there's no sun out here. It's supposed to be the sunshine state.
What the French toast? What's up with that?
It's rainy and pouring, and it's dark times all around us. Is what it is, Dane.
It is. Well, I guess no matter how rough things get it from time to time, they could always be worse.
I mean, it was one of the darkest things that I've ever seen. Was sitting at a bar one time. It was more of a restaurant.
What?
Restaurant.
It's one of those. Without any free advertisements.
Yeah, I'm not
people
shouting
who don't sponsor the show. You got to pay us, dog.
Not shouting you out yet. But I spent a couple of afternoons there, and there was a couple of. I mean, obviously, sitting at a bar, you're going to see some stuff go down. But the darkest thing that I've ever seen was maybe a late 55, early 60-year-old man walking in with flowers and a bag from Victoria's Secret, walking in asking for a specific waitress.
Oh, God.
And I was sitting at the bar.
Did you say his age already?
Yeah, he was like late 50s, early 60s. And it was like... Oh, it's so dark. Go ahead.
This is something that you don't even have to paint a vivid picture. Like just what you've done so far, you haven't even got as his shoes squeaked across the floor or anything vivid like that.
As he came in his favorite Megadeth shirt.
What I've pictured of what you said so far is very sad.
Like Levi's jeans and very Walmart-ish top. Anyway, it's not we've all taken a shot. We've all gotten a little too frisky with a bartender. We've all done that. I'm not saying that that's the dark part.
Whoa.
I'm not saying that's the dark part.
Speak for yourself, heathen.
I'm not saying that's the dark part. I'm saying the dark part is that he's like, I can fix this.
I always
by going even weirder. I can make this situation even worse. Let me buy you some panties and flowers, something that I'm definitely not supposed to do because I've never actually engaged in coitus with you, so I definitely shouldn't be doing this. Let me double down on this weirdness and let me make this even worse for myself in the long run. It was that was arguably one of the darkest things. It's like you get caught having sex with your sister, and it's like, no, I can make it better. I'm gonna have sex with my mom. I'm like, that fixes it, right? Like, nope. You just double down on it.
Dude, you can't make jokes like that. People are like, these two donkeys are from Kansas. Wait, what's going on?
No, Arkansas, it's different. That's where they do all that stuff.
No defamatory intent towards Arkansans.
Arkansans.
Hey, I would just like the listeners to know, okay? I take umbrage at your previous suggestions
about,
and I always
having sex with your own mom. Yeah, I should certainly hope so. Thank God for that. We're all about taking hard stands on this podcast, and I'm glad you're Dane's against mother's coitus.
Hey, listen,
this isn't Game of Thrones up here.
That's the thing everybody does today. They stand up and be very outraged about something that everybody is equally outraged by, but they want to make sure that you know that they are.
Well, if you've been paying attention to certain websites nowadays, it's all the rage now. Mommy blows best and all of that. Anyway.
Listen, I don't know what kind of websites you're on, but what I was getting ready to say is I have always left enough room for the Holy Spirit between me and any bartender I have ever seen in my life.
Let's keep it that way. And don't buy that Holy Spirit any panties. It's just going to make it even worse. Good God.
Oh, that poor guy. So you don't even know what his first offense was that necessitated the Victoria's Secret apology.
No previous knowledge. I saw her, the bartender, see him, ran to the back.
Oh, yikes.
Ran to the back to hide.
Oh, gross.
And then he walks up to the other bartender. He's like, hey, so-and-so here. And they're like, she's not working today. He's like, will you give this to her? They're like, no. Like, we really shouldn't do this. Like, go home. And he's sober, too. He hasn't been drinking all day.
Oh, God.
That was a sober brain that thought that he was going to I know how to fix this. He went home, he mulled over the fact that he made a mistake, and then that was his way to make it better.
Well,
I apologize.
I'll tell you this much, okay? That story was so sad. I'm pretty sure there's no topic we could address after this that is going to bring you down more than that.
It's going to be levity.
Intro.
We're going to bring it up.
This whole episode is going to be just rainbows, sunshine, and unicorns from the jump in to the end.
Oh, I don't want to bury the lead too much, but maybe a certain actor should go to Victoria's Secret and buy a whole lot of panties after what he did this week.
We'll leave you to mull that as the intro music drops in, and we will see you on the other side. Welcome to Weapons of Meme Destruction Podcast, episode 66, which can be found at wmdpodcast.com/66. You'll also be able to find this episode on YouTube. Just search Weapons of Meme Destruction, and you'll also be able to get us on any podcast app you have, but also link up with us on our other socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Very efficient.
I know, right? It only took
66 episodes?
Almost the devil's number of episodes to figure it out.
We've got another couple hundred to go before we get there.
We do. We're gonna need to bump up those listener numbers to get there.
Those rookie numbers.
So, David.
Yes.
Maybe you heard big news item coming down. Yesterday, I think, is when the news came out, but I don't know if the incident was actually on Thursday. But Alec Baldwin, the Alec Baldwin, has shot somebody.
With like a camera? He is an actor.
Yeah, with like a Canon X45,000 quadruple zoom. Yeah,
so
that's what it is.
I'm assuming that you're referring to the fact that Alec Baldwin shot somebody.
Yeah, I'm referring to that.
Weird. That's weird how you're referring to that. Exactly. So what happened? What were the specifics? What all I've seen is the meme universe explode with a bunch of like Nerf guns with actual like buckshot and shit.
The memers never sleep, and God, we love them.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, it's before we go in, you did remind me of one little sidetrack. There's always this picture, Jim Cramer from Mad Money on CNBC.
Yes.
He's like the bald guy who's always shouting, "Buy this stock!" Yada yada yada. There's a picture of Jim Cramer and he's pointing, and then the meme says something like, sell whatever the most recent meme stock was, and it's like, buy Alec Baldwin meme stocks.
They're about to go through the roof.
Yeah. So, no, the memeverse has been on point with old poor Alec. But before we get into more jokery about the subject, we do want to, give the obligatory, this is a tragic event for the person who's died, family, because somebody died and somebody was wounded. So actually both of their families. Pray for a quick recovery. Well, I do. David doesn't pray. Pray for a quick recovery of the wounded individual.
Maybe I pray in my own way, Dave. You gotta judge me.
Well, we're sending out thoughts and prayers. We're told how much that doesn't work. Right there.
Definitely, exactly.
Definitely thoughts and
recovery for the injury, and then our condolences, obviously, for the one that passed away.
But with that being said, I want to make clear, I don't know if David, we haven't discussed this part of it, but for all the jokes and fun we're making of Alec Baldwin, this isn't a laughing matter from a couple standpoints. First and foremost, just general gun safety. Like that's not a laughing matter, because the caricature that the gun control group always paints of gun owners is these, Wild West dudes that are just driving down the street.
They want a reason to pull it out.
Yeah,
right?
They think like Grand Theft Auto is a documentary.
Right.
That's what they think of gun owners. But gun owners are supremely cautious and proper handling, and like they do better than the cops in terms of accidental discharges. So, the fact that it's not funny because treat every gun like it's loaded, Alec. That's gun safety 101.
Well, and again too, what we like to point, I'm assuming we would like to point out is that because Alec Baldwin is such a anti-gun lobbyist, it would be important. It's incumbent upon you, because you're fighting something so fervently, to at least understand the nature of the thing that you're fighting, or at least try to understand the basic components of it. Like, if you do truly hate guns, you should learn about guns. You should know how they operate. You should know exactly what their purpose is if you really are trying to abolish them, because you've researched this so much and you've taken such a hard stance on it. Then you must know this particular topic through and throughout. And if you don't, then you're being flippant with what you're doing. And again, it seems as though Alec didn't know what he was doing with this, weapon or gun or weapon system, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And misused it, and we see what happens.
Right. And I mean, here's the thing. Again, because yes, that's exactly right. That is the second point that I was going to say that are not the laughing matters. The first one's gun safety, and the second one is the specific individual that it happened to, Alec Baldwin himself, having the vociferous opinions about, gun control and stuff like that he does. Not only is that the height of hypocrisy, but I mean, there's even more going on with it than that, because when you start to dig through read between the lines, I mean, really think about what somebody like Alec Baldwin, like the kind of arguments they make against gun control. Because when somebody says gun control, then the gun group obviously comes back and says, well, what about this gun and that gun and that gun? Like you're trying to lump a bunch of things in together, and eventually you're coming for everything. You just say it's assault rifles now, but assault rifles become hunting rifles, become shotguns, becomes handguns.
Right.
And then, it's that kind of thing, what they're afraid of. And so what does somebody like Alec Baldwin do? They play up the incidents of like accidental gunshots, right? We're not saying it's all crime, but if you got two young children in the house and one shoots one, you hear about that all the time. Think about every time that happens. It's plastered all over every media. Toddler accidentally shoots brother that his dad's gun that he got. That's what they're always playing up, is that's the biggest thing to be afraid of, even though that's the disproportionately fraction of a 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 fraction of the people that die from guns. But that's exactly what he did, a quote unquote accidental gunshot. These people, they become the exact caricature that they paint of those that they stand against when they're not on the hook. The crazy Wild West gun-toting guy, that's who they have in their dropping some valuables here. That's their image is. Everybody's running around and it's Grand Theft Auto out there. But the irresponsible people that they have in their mind's eye is complete projection from who they actually are. And this one just blew up in their face in a very big way because it's a famous guy.
And then again, not to point out the media dilemma, but right before we were going live, you mentioned that they're already starting to say in certain corners that a pro-Trumper got a hold of the gun and loaded it with a live weapon. So now a man can't even get shot anymore without some kind of, spin put on it to make the one side look better than the other. It's well, they can't even say the sun rose in the east. Like the east sun rose because of Trump and his edicts.
Pushed it down from the west or something. It would have
risen 5 minutes earlier if Trump hadn't had that one bill that we all hate that one time. And he made fun of the sun.
And it's so funny because that side of the political spectrum, again, we're not going to label it, but every person listening to this episode right now has a friend, a family member, or maybe they are this person who...
Shame on you.
who is on a certain side of the political spectrum, and they're always making stuff. If they don't agree with it, they're always like, everybody that disagrees with me is a conspiracy theorist. right? They love going to that, right? And why are people that disagree with me politically so susceptible to conspiracies? I'm not like that. I'm a smarty pants. And then like right out of the gates, it couldn't be gun control Alec's fault because he knows everything about guns. A Trumper slipped a live bullet into a prop gun. Like,
that's what happened.
Like, do you people take yourself seriously?
Somebody came in and knocked my girlfriend up for me this weekend. That's what it was. It wasn't my carelessness in the sack. It was definitely somebody else. God damn it, Trump. Thanks a lot, Obama. My girlfriend's pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, and again, this thing, I feel like this entire situation is a self-licking ice cream cone. Because
sounds hot.
Because think about this, right? So there are arguments that, again, we just established, you know, they try to caricature the other, so the pro-gun side, right? So that they can attack the straw man. And then, but that's just a clever cover for them projecting what they truly are. They think they think gun people are irresponsible and all willy-nilly with guns because that's what they are. Because they're ignorant of them, have never trained, and don't even know the first rule that every gun is loaded. If it looks like a carved wood, you pick it up and you're like, yep, this thing is definitely wood. This is a kid's toy. 100% solid wood. You treat that thing like it's a loaded gun. That's the first rule.
Muzzle discipline.
And listen, I learned something from this whole situation too. Gonna come out with my own ignorance. I did not know how dangerous prop guns on a movie set can really be because they're loaded with blanks. And again, this is me reading it from an article we'll share on the show notes page, who's a military veteran and, you know, probably has forgotten more about guns than I currently know. Was making the point that prop guns are usually loaded with blanks, but those blanks still have a pretty significant concussive force.
That happened a long time ago, and I want to say that it was... Well, didn't Bruce Lee's son, Brandon Lee, got killed on set being actually shot by a prop gun? And then I heard a story a long time ago about... Yeah, it was on The Crow or whatever the hell it was. And there's another one that people don't understand exactly what you were just saying. Some dude was on set screwing around with a prop gun, puts it up to his head, pulls the trigger. Well, guess what? There's still combustion in that muzzle. There's
combustion, and there's also again, according to this article, there can be accidentally some like some just pieces of metal, some little shards, not intended to be a bullet, not intended to be a projectile, but you know, the concussive force from the blank can still push a piece of debris out fast enough to be essentially acting like a bullet and can kill people. And again, maybe that's what happened in these other instances that David was just talking about. I don't know enough about them, but that's what this article was saying, that just because it's a prop gun and everybody knows it's a prop gun and it's properly loaded with blanks and it shouldn't be deadly, they still can be, again, in these accidental situations. So calling Alec's incident an accident doesn't get him off the hook. Because, again, if you treat every gun like it's loaded, all of these things that we're talking about that can make an accidental situation turn into a tragedy don't matter because you're not pointing at anybody. You're making sure you always have muzzle control. You're making sure that you're being as responsible as you possibly can with a weapon that you know is capable of inflicting death or severe bodily harm. That's why that's the first rule of gun safety.
A public service announcement from your weapons of meme destruction crew. But again, it's a tragedy. It sucks that it happened, obviously. But again, it just shows you, to paint with a broader brush right now, it just shows you that how clearly unintelligible these people are that are advocating to the complete removal of something, yet they have no idea what that thing actually does or is or even how it works in and of itself. You could broad stroke that amongst anything else that the government's saying that they're trying to wipe out, that they're like masks, vaccines, name it. That's what they're doing. They don't concern themselves with the how, why, or anything. They just want it gone. They don't like it. They want it gone. They don't want to care about, well, it does kind of serve a purpose, or maybe it does actually function pretty well as a deterrent against, somebody attacking me, or whatever the hell you want to call it.
Yeah.
Like, none of those need apply with these agendas that they have no business having in the first place.
Yeah.
And it's coming from a very unintelligible position.
And just to close the loop on the self-licking ice cream cone. So by Alec being irresponsible and creating a tragedy like this, I'll guarantee you, I haven't seen any headlines yet, and I just want everybody to know for posterity, we're recording this like 48 to 72 hours after the incident occurred. So if something has come out after this, my prediction will have come true. Is I'll bet you are going to start seeing headlines within the next couple of days about what David and I were just talking about earlier. They're going to highlight all of the accidental deaths where a kid shoots a kid. And they're going to use the Alec situation to basically say, see, this is why we've always been right all along. This is why when it really comes to gun control, we need to control it all the way down to the handgun.
They're going to control the narrative like they did with Don Lemon and Sanjay Gupta.
Yeah.
So he pulls it back in and says, we didn't lie, right? No, we didn't lie.
So they create or contribute to a problem. When that problem captures mainstream news, like a famous person doing it to somebody, instead of saying, wow, this is probably why ignorant people shouldn't talk about guns and they should spend a little bit more time studying how they work, how to handle them safely, yada, yada, yada. That's not the lesson they're going to tell you to take away from this. The lesson they're going to tell you to take away from this is even Superman, always pro-gun control, good guy Alec Baldwin can kill somebody accidentally. So what can happen to you and your kids if you're allowed to have a gun all willy-nilly? That's the lesson that you're going to be told to take out of this.
It's all in that newspeak. It's all in how you tell the story. Right?
We're telling you, don't fall for it, damn it.
Enjoy your guns. Just enjoy them safely.
Yes.
Like your condoms. Yeah. Use protection.
Like the beer commercials.
Right,
enjoy responsibly.
Exactly. It's like there's a lot of stuff out there that if used inappropriately can hurt you and others.
Yeah. So, having, I think, thoroughly explained the serious part of this thing, I think from here on out for the rest of the episode, it's just joke time on Alec Baldwin.
I mean, what could you say that hasn't already been said?
The memes. I just want to talk about some of the memes that I've seen. They're great. There's the one where he's the guy's sitting down in front of the table with the things like, I'll debate you on anything or whatever. But they have Alec Baldwin on the body, and then in the front it says, I killed more people than all the January 6th protesters combined.
Oh God. That's fucked up.
It is, but the truth and the joke.
Yeah.
Because I think the only person that died on January 6th was one of the protesters, right? Ashley Babbitt. I don't think anybody else died.
They were saying that a cop died during it, but it's weird that there's been 4 cops that have committed quote unquote suicide afterwards.
More have died after than on the day.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I know about. Everything else is just kind of.
But in terms of a bullet coming from somebody's gun,
no bullets were fired. No shots were fired. And they took over the entire
meme
Capitol.
is true.
Right.
Alec Baldwin has killed more people than the January 6th protesters.
Exactly. So I guess we really don't need guns. Maybe Alec was right in the end.
Yeah. Fact check that one, Zuck.
If you can overthrow the Capitol with just a couple of Viking helmets and a lot of can-do attitude, I guess we don't really need guns. Maybe Alec was right this whole time. Shit.
As a matter of fact, I have not shared that Alec meme specifically so I don't get zucked again. Because my next ban, I'm looking at, I think, a week.
Oh, man.
I can't handle that.
I can't. I gotta have that
news from
baby.
Facebook.
I gotta got that news, baby.
People got to know what I think
How am I
about
supposed to be lied to if I can't get on Facebook? Damn it.
Or at least how am I supposed to enjoy it as I'm laughing on the way into the abyss?
Right. Well.
Oh, jeez.
Poor bastard, Alec.
Yeah.
Foisted by his own petard.
Yeah. It was an accident. He's distraught. He's destroyed. Yada, yada. He's saying all the right thing. Oh, I had another one where they got an action shot of him on the phone. I'm assuming he's calling 911 or whatever the case may be. And I don't know if in the real picture he had his mask in his hand or if somebody photoshopped one in there. But the meme made it look like he was saying on the phone, no, don't worry. Everything's safe. I had my mask on.
Oh, you fucking assholes. Like, what are you?
The meme-averse is undefeated, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? I know it's not going to come as a surprise to people, but that sort of mentality of pointing out the absurdities of life. Listen, you don't have to go political with it one way or another, but you just look at a meme and you laugh because it points out an absurdity. And when you think about it for 2 seconds, you're like, oh yeah, that is kind of absurd.
Yeah.
That's the beauty in the meme-averse, that what they're doing with a meme like that is destroying, all of the underlying memes by poking fun at, destroying everything that we just talked about in this episode of Alec being an authority on guns, or, the self-licking ice cream concept, ice cream cone concept. Try saying that 5 times.
Yeah, good luck.
All of those things. And that one meme, if you're laughing at the absurdity of it all, you're going to be inoculated, no pun intended, from the rest of the things that, the 1984 style media is trying to pound into your head. That's what memes like that do, and that's what we hope that we're doing for you on this show.
All right.
Inoculating you to the madness.
Let us inoculate you. That sounds sounds hot.
Graphic.
Inoculate you up. Anyway. So where can they find this episode, Dane?
They can find this episode at wmdpodcast.com/66. You can also get it on YouTube, any podcast catcher, and also, get information about it, see posts about it from Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. With that, David, I think we've had enough laughs that we can wade into one more week of insanity, make it to the other side, and talk to these people again
Perhaps.
in a few days.
Perchance to dream.
Think we can make it?
Let's go out into that cold, dark world again and see what happens. See if we can get anything even darker than that patron of that that restaurant that I told you about, or darker than Alec Baldwin blowing someone away accidentally.
Listen, with Odin's blessing, we tread into the dark forest, hope to come out on the other side alive.
There you go. Valhalla.